Hello everybody, here we are again, back in my garage, and I'm talking about my Ferrari 430 Scuderia. I didn't really want to be here quite so soon because I thought after the last time I had actually fixed my problems once and for all. It turns out though not to be the case. And on a most recent visit to Centre Gravity, when looking at my 430, we discovered something rather shocking. Stay tuned to find out more. So then, to bring you all up to speed, I have a Ferrari 430 Scuderia. Aren't I a lucky boy? It is in fact my second. The reason it is my second is because the first one that I bought had an issue. The suspension knocked. A lot. And after some time, this began to get annoying. The knock was actually there when I first test drove the car, but I wasn't really that worried about it because 360s and 430s are notorious for suspension issues. Bushes and ball joint, they are famous for their appetite. And so I thought at the time, that's just what it was. They need to put a couple of those on, everything will be right as rain. Unfortunately, over the next sort of, well, I think 9 to 10 months, the car spent more time at Dick Lovett than it did in my garage because everything they did to try and fix this just didn't work. I'd get the car back, drive it for 200 miles, be convinced that they had fixed it, and then find out that actually they hadn't at all, and the knock came back. And I'm trying to, enjoy something while that's happening. I mean, you'd tune out of this video, wouldn't you, pretty quickly if that was just happening all the time. But anyway, I then bought a second 430 Scuderia. On the test drive, it was absolutely silent. However, by the time I got it home, I realized this car also had a knock. And the dealer I got it from, which was not a Ferrari dealer, this was an independent supercar specialist, their suggestion was basically, we'll take it back and flog it to someone else that's not going to care. I don't like that kind of attitude. I wanted to get this fixed. So I figured, you know what? You can give me a little bit of money, which was about $2,000, that will go towards sorting the suspension. And I figure I can probably get it solved. My initial thought actually was just to return the car because we'd spent so long with Dick Lovett trying to fix it, we hadn't sorted it. And then I figured, you know what, maybe that's because we did the wrong thing. So this time round, I'll take it to where I want to take it, which is Centre Gravity. There's some suspension gurus quite far from me, but worth the trip because they are nerds. If it's suspension related, there isn't anything they don't know. And I figured maybe what we can do is a little bit more diagnostics, work out what's going on, and hopefully target the problem in a slightly more productive way. Anyway, the car had its first visit there, and on that we did drop links and track rod ends, I think, at the front. That seemed to cure the problem again, but 300 miles later it came back. This was fine, we kind of expected that it might. We did know that these parts needed doing, so it wasn't like we were just throwing money away. Then the car went back in, we had another look at it, and we thought, right, we got it. It is the lower shock bushes and bolts. These are a common failure point, and we had them replaced. These little things sit at the bottom of the damper, and bolt goes through here, and yeah, basically it had worn, and there's actually play in here anyway, and we thought that was it. I did about 200 miles, and it stayed silent, so I've made the last video saying I thought we'd done it. But I took the car out to go and see a friend, and I went over some pretty rough roads, and probably a little bit too quickly, and at the end of that journey, back to where I'd always been. I'd already put the car in with Centre Gravity because I wanted them to tinker with some other stuff the next time I saw them. And I figured, right, okay, we've done the drop links, we've done a few little bits here and there, we've done the suspension bushes. I know the car has had new ball joints because when I bought it, the previous owner got in touch and said, yeah, we had new ball joints put in. They were done when I got the car. And I thought, hang on a minute. They actually were done by Dick Lovett. So if they were done by Dick Lovett, they will be the original genuine Ferrari parts. They won't be the superior Hill engineering parts, which is what everybody tells you to buy. And that car, I don't think had been to Dick Lovett for about 10,000 miles or so. So I figured actually maybe what's happened is those ball joints that got replaced have now worn. I mean, it's not unheard of for these ball joints. Some people online say they knacker them in about 2,000 or 3,000 miles. So I thought, okay, right, sod it. Let's just go through this whole thing and erase ball joints as a potential issue. I'd been ignoring them up until now, but let's deal with it. So I bought the full set of ball joints for the car. That's 8, because you're double wishbone suspension, so you've got 2 on each corner. The ball joint, in case you're wondering, your suspension wishbone, just imagine it as a sort of, it's probably not entirely different from that shape. On a double wishbone car, you've got, you know, you see your wheel tyre goes here, and you've got a wishbone down here, your lower, and then you've got your upper, and the ball joint, your hub then sits here, and basically the ball joint sits here. And it's an articulating piece that allows movement as and where it is required. So the wheel can go up and down, and the benefit of a double wishbone suspension, in case you are wondering, is that unlike some other setups, it can prescribe the arc or the movement of the wheel as it travels up and down to give you the best performance, comfort, handling, etc, etc, etc. Anyway, so I bought 8 of these new fancy Hill engineering ball joints, and also a couple of tie rods for the back. Now, actually, as it happened, I reported the tie rod bit on a previous video quite some time ago. The tie rods at the back, they weren't actually too far gone. One of them was okay, but the dust cover on it had started to go. Now, these are the tie rods, they go at the back. And you can see here that this dust cover, it's seen better days. And eventually, stuff will get in here and foul it. This is a ball joint. Okay, you can see you move that, that's all gone. Now, the fact is, to get this off the car, to get this out, now Ferrari officially don't sell pieces of this, they sell, yeah, they don't sell this, they sell the whole thing. Now, officially, I could buy another dust cover for about 30 odd quid, but we all had a bit of a chat, and we reckon that, you know, to get a new dust cover on here is actually quite fiddly, quite finicky, and it's probably going to take at least an hour or two, and labour is expensive. So the solution was just to buy a complete new pair of these. They're also uprated items, so one of them did have, oh, that's quite stiff. So this one's sort of gone, and this one's stuck. So one of these had also started to fail inside, so we said, you know what, actually, if one of them started to fail, the other one's probably not far off, so we just did that, and it was about 700 quid for the pair plus fitting, versus, I think it was double that from Ferrari. Anyway, so this we knew needed doing, and this is why the car was already booked in. I then added ball joints to the list. Now, there we go. In here we have some ball joints, so I can show you. Oh no, sorry. Now actually what we have in here is dust covers. Now, particularly for those that actually have or are thinking of buying either a 360 or 430, likely also 599, 612, this is actually where you tend to make your biggest saving. The ball joints themselves are massively different in price to the genuine Ferrari ones. I buy them because the design is better. These, though, I think Ferrari wants something like 70 quid for each of these. And obviously there are 2, an upper and a lower for all of them. And it's really expensive. There's a whole bag of these things, right? I saved, oh, I think it was nearly £1,000 by buying these at like £13 or so plus VAT each, as opposed to like 70 quid from Ferrari. That's ludicrous. This is a bag of ball joints, right? So, these are the lowers. These are the uppers. You can probably tell the lowers are a bit bigger and beefier, and the uppers are a little bit smaller. Now, they like to move around as well. So I ordered complete set. Now, I made a bit of a mistake, because to get these out, you have to press them out, that's fine. Centre gravity got all the stuff they need to do that. However, when you put them back in, you then need to glue them in with a very, very specific glue. It's this 2-part stuff. It's Loctite EA9360. It's an epoxy, I think. It joins together. If you don't keep it in the fridge, I mean, this is now gone because it's been at room temperature for a little bit, but if you don't keep it in the fridge, it will just set. It's a devil to apply. You have to have a special gun to do it. Now, if you do happen to have a 360 or 430 and you need this work done, I have left centre gravity with the gun to dispense these things, so I can at least save you a couple of quid there. Anyway, That was about 70 odd pounds. I bought all of this stuff from Superformance. They don't give me a special discount or anything like that. I think if you put Rata-Rossa in the checkout, you might get free shipping. But yeah, the parts alone we're talking about here, including the tie rods, all of these and this, we're talking about 2.5 grand? Yeah, 2.5 grand. Okay. So I wasn't told that we needed to do all of them. I suspected some of them would be okay, but I figured rather than guess, let's just get the lot done. I didn't know exactly which had or hadn't been done by Dick Lovett previously, so I just thought, sod it, let's get them all done. When Centre Gravity got in touch, it was a several-day operation, this. Actually, the car was in there nearly a week. We had to do it in several stages and whatnot. When the car had been disassembled and taken apart, I got a call from them to say, we found something rather interesting, which is, first off, that all of the lowers, every single one of them was original. We believe original to the car. They've been in there forever. That, of course, means that they're likely past their best. Now, some of them are actually, they're sort of okay. They're still kind of doing their job. But some of them are gone. I mean, this one's actually like rock solid now. I can't even move it. But this one might be able to demonstrate a little bit of what's going on. And you can probably see there that this is, listen to this. Now here's the issue with these Ferrari ones. They are underneath mild steel with like a chrome plating. What happens is stuff gets in there, and you can see at the top here, corrosion has appeared. Now, when the corrosion appeared, it effectively expands the metal, and then it wears away all of the, the non-friction coating inside, and of course, it doesn't do the car any favors. Now, what happens though is, of course, this wear builds up in a band in the middle, and this, I think, gave us a clue as to why some of this was so hard to diagnose. Because when the suspension is in its normal position, it's doing all of that. It's free. It's moving about. But when the thing, yeah, look at that. That shouldn't be like that. It should be nice and smooth. When the car is then in an extreme position, so the wheels are all drooped down in a place where it wouldn't normally be, it then goes to a part where there isn't actually so much wear. So if you just try and lever it and see if they're working, they might appear to be working. That's one theory we've got anyway. The more interesting bit is that we think the upper rears were probably also original to the car or might have been changed, but the most interesting ones were the upper fronts. That's these two guys. And they were interesting for three reasons, really. First off, they are Hill Engineering ball joints. They are the better ones. We know that because we can actually read the little serial code on the side. We know who they've been made by, and therefore we know that they are not the genuine Ferrari ones. They are the superior items. See, look, there's no corrosion on there or anything, because these are stainless steel. They won't or shouldn't corrode. However, you can probably also tell they've been filled with grease, and that's not really what you're supposed to do with these. They have a PTFE, non-stick coating in them, and that does the lubrication bit. There shouldn't be a reason to put grease in these things. In fact, I'm told the grease might actually have a very much detrimental effect on the properties of the coatings. However, perhaps the most shocking bit we found is that there was no glue on them. We can read the serial code because there's no glue on them. 6 of these 8 ball joints had glue on. You can see very clearly where it's had to be pried out and it's come off, and there's still bits of glue on there. Why is this significant? Well, because basically they were just loose. Okay, they weren't going to go anywhere because of where they were, because of what they're bolted to and everything. They were never ever going to just fall out of the car. It would have been basically impossible. But also, neither were they properly secured and gripped at the end of the wishbone arm. Now, I believe these were fitted by Dick Lovett. I'm not certain. I don't have an invoice to prove that. All I know is that the previous owner told me that Dick Lovett did do ball joints before. Maybe there was a misunderstanding. Maybe somebody thought these ones don't need gluing in, but they definitely do. And yeah, This was a major operation. This took days and days to do. The labour bill was even bigger than the parts bill. Replacing all of this, replacing these two tie rods down here, we're talking about £5,000. That's painful. And I would love to be able to sit here and tell you that the problem is at last solved. Like my previous visits, we've certainly found something that wasn't right, several things that weren't right. We know we have improved the car. I've also put a fresh set of tyres on it. It's now on PS4S all round. Before it was on Cup 2s, and one of the rears had 2 puncture repairs. Literally within a week, it got 2 punctures in the same tyre, different places. So, and it now being winter, I want that gone. The car is soon, in a couple of weeks, probably by the time you've seen this video, it'll already be down at Meridian for just some other small, just tiny bits I want done. Some cosmetic stuff and whatnot. And so I'm now going to be trying to get as many miles on the car as I can to try and see whether, at long last, we have fixed the issue. Then, when I update you and tell you what we've done at Meridian, hopefully I'll be able to say whether or not my car is sorted. And so, hopefully, when the car then comes back from Meridian, and I'll tell you all about what's been going on down there, don't worry, nothing particularly saucy, I'll have done enough miles that I can then say whether we have or haven't fixed the issue. So anyway, that's an update on the 430, but one that I thought was definitely worth sharing. So then, as ever, a huge thank you to Centre Gravity for their continued professionalism and perseverance, and to you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.